My name's Sophia, I'm from Vincent Music, and I'm about to start teaching violin and viola here. Today am going to go through some quick practice techniques for when you're doing a new piece or when you need to go through something a little bit tricky. So one of the first things that I like to do is oftentimes do some practice without the bow. And then from there you can kind of gauge what's going wrong, if it might be in the bow hand, if it might be in your left hand, and you're like, okay, I can kind of narrow it down a little bit. So think about one of the pieces I'm playing. So from there I'd kind of be like, okay, there's nothing really wrong with the left hand. Then I'd grab the bow, but for now I won't do that, just to keep the video a little bit shorter. But next I tend to go and, so say if I have a difficult passage and I want to work through what might be going wrong, it could be rhythmically. So a good way when you have tricky rhythms is to play them differently. This sounds a little bit counterproductive, but in the long run it's actually really helpful, because then you're going to be able to master them in all these different ways. So one thing I like to do is, so say if I have this rhythm normally, I'd be like, okay, what's one different way I can do it? So I might put some dotted rhythms on to make it a little bit different. Another way you can add rhythms is by doubling the notes. So I'll use a different example. I'll just do a scale for now. And so from there I'd go. Or I might do it in triplets, so groups of 3. And so on and so forth. So that kind of helps with breaking down a troubled area in a piece. And so one final way that you can work on a tricky passage in a piece is I like to call it a note grab. It sounds a little bit silly, but you essentially just grab the notes from both ends of that tricky passage. You grab the 2 notes beforehand and the 2 notes after, and so you play the tricky passage essentially with different rhythms like we did before, with the 2 notes in front of it, and then you stop and you switch it around and do it with the 2 notes after. Then you have the ability to be able to add those notes on in, and you've mastered the tricky spot with all those added things around it. So I have this, say the troubling bit was me going. Say it was these. So we'd grab these 2 notes. And then we'd kind of just work through that in different rhythms. So and then you go. I'll make it a little bit more resolved. So it would go. so that you can eliminate any possibility of something else turning up around those notes as well. So yeah, hopefully that's helpful for little practice tips. I use these all the time. They always help me when I'm doing something difficult. So yeah, let me know how you go, and thanks for watching.